Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. My name is Tala. Here you'll find timeless messages to guide your soul's awakening. If you're here, trust. You are meant to be. Please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. These help support my mission of creating more peace on Earth. Okay, collective, welcome in. Thank you, Spirit, for using me as a channel to bring through these messages for the greatest good of the collective. I would like to do messages from your person, okay? And we're going to start, this is the message deck that I created. We'll start with these Spirit Animal Oracle cards. I'm going to draw two, okay? Because there's you and the person on your mind. And these are going to just be messages from, these are love messages, okay? These are just going to be love messages, you and them. Scorpion, new beginnings. You are invited to investigate change. You are invited to instigate change, but you are also being warned that this transformation may be radical. Get rid of everything in your current life that can prevent you from improving. Based on this principle, destroy before rebuilding. You are promised a beneficial rebirth. Okay, that's a strong message. Very strong message. It heralds a new beginning, but it's reminding us that we've got to create space for the new. Peacock, this is about self-love. You will find great power in focusing on the positive aspects of yourself, that which makes you indefinably unique and beautiful. There is deep wells of untapped inner power in letting go of negative self-talk. I'm going to say undeniably unique and beautiful. There are deep wells of untapped inner power when you let go of negative self-talk. Okay? Yeah, so empower yourself. Okay. You and them collective love messages. Okay, let's get a message here. Okay, my ego holds me back. First message out. My ego holds me back. Yeah, well, ego is usually rooted in fear, isn't it? So let's take a look at that. And from that place, we can sometimes create negative self-talk, which is what the peacock feather is talking about. We're also, it also relates to the scorpion energy here, in the sense that you have a new beginning, perhaps, here. Right? So this is what somebody in the connection is saying. My ego holds me back. What else can we know about this? The Emperor. Okay. Well, the Emperor is a powerful leader. The Emperor oversees many things. It can kind of be like a boss. Of course, with power comes the potential to misuse it, mishandle it. And this oftentimes stems from a place of ego. You know, when somebody holds a position of power, they often think that it's coming from themselves, their ego. I hold this power because I'm better than everybody. When in reality, the Emperor holds this power because the divine has chosen to place that power in the Emperor. And so really the Emperor is the only one that's going to hold himself back, or you, collective. So your person or you might be a boss, an emperor, and you might find that there's a need to transcend the ego at this time. Okay. We have the world. I don't like to read reversals. I'm not sure. It looks like these cards go this way. Okay, the world. So the world is about completions. It's about celebrating an achievement. It's about closing out a cycle and starting a new one. So if you're on the brink of a change right now, collective, but it's not coming through, this could have to do with ego. So take a look at that. How do we know when we're acting from a place of ego? If we drill down, we will find faulty core beliefs. Okay? They're faulty because they're out of balance and they are conditioned. They're learned, they're programmed. Our society does a great job of boosting people's egos. Our educational system support, and ego is a necessary thing. It's important to have a healthy sense of self, right? But when we become overly attached to how others see us and lose sight of our true nature, which is of love, compassion, fairness, all of the virtues, right, that are universal. Okay, when we lose sight of those, we know that we have put a little too much stock in ego, and our ego can get overinflated. On the other end of the spectrum, somebody who does not have a healthy ego can be pushed all around. They've lost their sense of self. They might overinflate the ego to make up for a weak sense of self. Okay, there are a lot of ways that an ego can hold yourself back. It could relate to self-esteem that needs to be built up. Okay, might be a message for somebody. We have a Queen of Pentacles. All right. Well, a Queen of Pentacles here is quite comfortable. She's abundant. She sits on her throne. She has mastery over her material world. But as it relates to this card here, the Scorpion card, where we're talking about lightening the load, releasing things that, maybe somehow weighing down your progress or holding back your forward movement. It can be stuff that's internal, but it certainly can also be things in the material realm. So there might be a need to declutter, get rid of things, clear out closets, clear out a garage. Yeah, and if you're having trouble doing that and you're attached to the material things, there might be an opportunity to ask yourself, why am I attached to this? And also ask yourself, how would I be better served by releasing this? What could I be opening up space for? The High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess speaks of somebody who's very intuitive, very, tapped in, who holds a lot of sacred knowledge. This is the feminine aspect. And like with anything, we can get a little out of balance. Okay? So a balanced energy would be embodying High Priestess and Magician energy. It's important to be receptive, but there are also times, whether you're masculine or feminine predominantly, there are other times where you need to step into the creative role. And if there's resistance to doing that, it might relate to ego. Okay? If you're shy and you feel like your voice, you don't have anything to say, or your voice sounds weird, or you're not a great writer, those are all things that could stop you from moving ahead, moving toward fulfilling a purpose with another, fulfilling your own purpose. expressing love to another, being assertive with another, if you're needing to release things. This all stems from that ego on both ends of the spectrum. I want to hold on. That's fear. I want to hold on to this. Greed, that's also fear. I need to hold on to this material stuff. I need to hold on to these people. I need to have control. That's ego, just as much as I need to stay small. I'm afraid to be seen and heard. Okay, so there's an opportunity here to really look at your self-worth, the way you're viewing yourself. Is it in alignment with your deeper self, with your soul? And is that reflected outwardly? Okay, where are the discrepancies, and where can you make changes if it's appropriate? It's not, sometimes you just have to stand in your truth and say too bad to everybody who doesn't like it, because sometimes that's just life. What else? What other message from your person? What other message would you like to say to your person here? What are we looking at here, Spirit? Let's do this. What else, Spirit? I need to be treated fairly. Okay, I value fairness. I value fairness. I need your understanding. Okay? I value reciprocity, equal give and take. I need you to take equal action. Okay, something like this. Yeah. I need to be treated fairly. Tell us about this, Spirit. Are there areas where there's a feeling that things have been out of balance, unequal, unmet needs? Talk to us about this, Spirit. Well, we have a Ten of Wands. Yeah, somebody might feel like they're carrying more than their fair share. Somebody might feel like they are burdened, and there might be an opportunity to look at that feeling that you're having. Okay, collective, if that's you, you might think it's unfair that you're carrying a heavy burden. But if you look at the unmet need there, okay, I need relaxation. I need to feel good in my body. I need time to rest. Okay, looking at it through the lens of what you need, rather than how this is unfair or somebody else put me in a bad position. Okay, that's giving your power away. But when you own your needs, you can then ask for, you can make a request. You can make a request of another that's based on something that's true to you. You're not judging the other. You're looking inward, recognizing what unmet needs you may have, and making a request, okay, to see if this other person might be willing to help you meet that need. Would you be willing to do the dishes tonight and Sunday night? Would you be willing to pick the kids up? Would you be willing to pitch in a little bit more money so that we can do X, Y, or Z? Right? Would you be willing? We have a Two of Swords here. Okay, so again, what's the unmet need here? There's a need to make a decision, for sure. Maybe there's a feeling that, you may be feeling kind of stuck or restricted or constricted, that you can't quite see what the choices are. This might feel unfair, if this is resonating for you. So what is the unmet need? You may need more understanding. Okay, you may need to be heard. You may need to be considered. Okay, you could ask for, would you be willing to share a little more information? Help me to understand this more clearly. Are you willing to, explain what it is that you're talking about? Illuminate these two choices, or these choices that are before me, or that you're offering me. Okay. This could relate to contractual things or agreements, contracts, within a household, within the dynamic of a relationship, right? How much are you giving and receiving? Is it fair? Is it balanced? Are both people's needs being considered equally? Right? A Knight of Pentacles. Now here's somebody on the move. They're bringing something. They're coming forward to build. This Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. And so there's a need that in this process of building, that both you and your person here, collective, get to weigh in on what this is going to look like. Logistical things like to do with the material world, like the financial piece, how much are we both contributing, spending, what kind of boundaries are we going to set up, how are we going to create this relationship container in a way that considers both perspectives, that's fair to not only to us as individuals, but maybe to the third energy, which is the relationship itself. And we have a Seven of Wands. This is about defending yourself, standing up for your convictions, what you believe. And so I'm getting here that there may be a need to assert oneself, to spoke up, to be heard, to be understood. Yeah. And I actually I forgot about this, but I created these need cards. Let's go ahead and draw a couple of these. Okay, so we're looking at ego and fairness. Okay, in the context of this dynamic between the both of you. And we're looking at a new beginning, perhaps. Okay, grace. Grace. Let's see. When we're entering into anything new, whether it be a relationship, a job, just, embracing change, even. Grace is about holding the divinity within you, okay? Giving people latitude. It's about thinking before you speak. It's about giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's about foregoing your own ego. It's about assuming the best in people. It's assuming that people have good intentions. I think this is so important in this day and age. I think we lose it sometimes, this sense of grace. It's about taking the high road. It's about choosing to not get down in the mud and start fighting dirty. Okay, when you have every reason to, many times, or every opportunity to, with social media and whatnot. But it's about holding the divinity within you. Okay? tenderness. Oh, yeah, there's a need to be tender towards self, for starters. Okay, your thoughts, your feelings, your vulnerabilities, the things you're afraid to share. Okay, these ways in which your ego holds you back. We need to be tender with ourselves. We need to not beat ourselves up, not sit there and nitpick ourselves to death and say, oh, I did this or I did that, or if only I wouldn't have said this or I should have said that. That's not tender. Okay, that's nitpicky. Tenderness is when you notice those thoughts, taking some action to release them, taking some action to love your body, going for a walk, taking a bath, cuddling with your fur baby or your partner, okay? Generating some tenderness somehow, okay? Eating a succulent meal, right? Like shifting your mindset. Be tender with yourself. That's going to help a lot, okay? Because it's a higher vibrational frequency than nitpicking, right? And so therefore it's more attractive, usually. Okay, so when you're going in a new partnership, or you're dealing with some stuff in yourself, or you're catching on to, you have some, negative self-talk, tenderness can be huge. And communion. Yeah, there's always a need for communion. This is sharing, joining together with others to experience something together, okay, to be a part of a collective. It's not even so much about doing, speaking, it's about being. We are in communion. Sometimes we take communion, but communion is an act of joining together. I envision it as a circle of people holding hands. I envision it as a bunch of people sitting in meditation together, kind of maybe taking turns and guiding the group. I get a sense of like egalitarianism in this word. It's not exactly that, but that's just what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. This sense of co-creation. Yeah, let's get one more. These are all needs that we have, guys. So, with all of this, my ego holds me back and I need to be treated fairly. Those are fears, okay? And that's kind of a negative thing that might be occurring at this time, okay? So looking at that, but then realizing the choices that we have. Comfort. Yeah, this kind of ties in with some of what we're saying with tenderness. So what can be comforting, right? What will comfort you when you're looking at your ego? And noticing the ways in which your ego is holding you back. What will be comforting? How can you address it? Well, with the Queen of Pentacles, we can, choose an empowering path with the things in the material. Maybe you choose those things that you just love, 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 and release some things that you don't. Okay, maybe it's comforting to hold on to some things, but not everything. Maybe it's comforting if it's people that you're moving away from or releasing. Maybe it's comforting to yourself to write them a letter, to convey your deep gratitude for the time that you've been able to spend with them in this lifetime. one thing that might be comforting if you're having trouble with a completion is reminding yourself of the many successful completions that you've made that might bring some comfort to your mind. For the Emperor, who maybe has some control issues, who has some trouble conceding power at times, perhaps communing with people from different walks of life, okay, would be helpful. This might be an unmet need that the Emperor has that could help balance his ego, okay. With the wands here, I need to be treated fairly. Asking for help is an act of grace. It is. It's acknowledging that you have more than you can handle. But you're able to ask because you trust that people are good. You would do the same for others. You would help lay that burden down. Maybe it's your partner that you would help. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are messages. They seem geared toward self-improvement and growth of the individual in service of a connection. Okay? Thank you all for being here. Bye for now.